Recording live from count them, 3 locations. This is Past the Rock. I am Patrick, and as always, I am joined by 2 Texan men. Caesar, aka LCs.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm not on delay anymore. Got
me.
I wanted to see how long I could get away with that.
And Jacob, aka Bethke.
Still always a Texan at heart. But it is with heavy news that I announced that I have been traded to the Los Angeles area as a late part of the Luka Doncic deal. I will be his body double. They're already getting me ready. They've provided me this jersey. It's very nice. Basically, I'm just to drink a lot of beer. I got to put on some more weight. Been doing a good job of that myself already, but really going to have to work on that a little bit. And then I'm just going to have to, walk out of the limo first, get to hang out, listen to some Bad Bunny on the car ride, and then I just get out first. And, if something bad happens, my family will be compensated.
Yeah.
So there is also, this is, again, it's a late trade, but there is a man that looks like Anthony Davis from the Los Angeles area that has
moving over here.
He is coming here, but unfortunately he has now been rerouted to DC. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of,
That's a lot of moving parts, man.
Yeah, it's a complicated deal, but that's how business works. People don't talk about this aspect of sports, but the body doubles. It might be the most.
So with you being traded, what are we getting out of this now that you're getting traded? Then,
yeah, what is the
AD guy is going to DC? What are we left with?
What's the podcast equivalent of the NBA lottery?
Yeah, you guys are basically going to get Marvin Bagley's look-alike now, and cash considerations.
Where's our Cooper flag?
Yeah, unfortunately, this has nothing to do with that, and
we're not
rules
mafia. So,
yeah, the league rules unfortunately say that the terms of this deal also have to mirror the terms of the original deal with the players. So it's pretty lopsided, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah,
there's also a great chance that Jason Kidd had something to do with this on my end as well.
In reality and in the real world, Jacob is moving to California. We definitely wish him all the best. And I doubt this will be the last we ever see of him, but it might be a little bit less frequent, at least to start, just because he's settling in after a pretty major move here.
Yeah, just get to do a fun little 3-day drive on over down the way with 3 cats. You know what I mean? I'm sure they're going to enjoy every second. I'm not going to get my kicks on Route 66, I believe. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think I will. I forget which one it is, but we're going to be taking a northern route so that I can get to Albuquerque day 1 instead of El Paso day 1, which just mentally makes me feel better about it. But also, we just want to have more options of places to stay. It's a little more populated north than it is south. South is technically faster. If you really care and have to do the drive, I think
you're
south
cutting through the desert.
Yeah, we're cutting through the desert north, so we get to see some mountains and shit in New Mexico. Get to go through Albuquerque, that'll be cool. And you get to see like the really mountainy part of Arizona that's really beautiful. But eventually it will just be flat, desolate land. I've done this drive once actually to Vegas though. So basically all the whole drive, except for instead of going south, basically in this direction, we went north to go up to Vegas. Probably a little shorter that way, but still.
Yeah, just realize that the road when you go through Phoenix, that shit sucks. The roads trash. I thought our roads were bad. Their roads, especially on the freeway, suck.
I don't know that I have to do Phoenix this
way. No,
I
it sounds like you're moving now north of that. Yeah, the furthest I've done in a drive, I guess, well, technically, East Tennessee, which But Denver,
I've been middle.
Denver is also
Tennessee,
pretty
yeah.
far. But I haven't done Vegas or California. That's a bit
Yeah.
far.
Well, I was a kid when I did the Vegas one, so I was just in the back of a rented minivan from my parents, and then I went into a few drives myself with my now wife to Tennessee and to Denver. That's been fine. So I am a little more used to it. I have to drive the U-Haul, so that's not super fun. This was a
It's
fun
honestly,
gift though.
I think it's better because you get to like drive slower and just be like, we're chilling.
True, and I don't have the cats, which is really the big win, right? Am I
Yeah.
right? Am I right? So, anyway, the this was a fun gift. So my wife is from LA, so this wasn't like out of the blue necessarily, but we didn't really think it was going to be a realistic option until more maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe two, that we kind of started to think this was possible because my wife was finishing her PhD, which means after that, it's time to make decisions on how you go about your profession. For her, she wants to be in academia, so she's got to build a resume as basically working directly under current professors. And so she had been doing a great job of applying a long ass time ago. And then about 2 or 3 months ago, it kind of came down to Omaha, Nebraska or UCLA, which is definitely a funny choice that we've laughed about many times because it really did kind of come down to the wire there. And maybe isn't necessarily a no in the future because it's
I was
just
gonna say,
it's the hub.
Was she making a choice there, or is it the company making a choice there?
Well, she's basically choosing between schools and offers
Okay,
at schools.
got it.
So UCLA was the one she chose, but there is
You didn't want to propose Omaha so you could further your sports journalism career as a College World Series aficionado.
Yeah, I mean, I think Omaha is a little funny because it's this really interesting bubble on the map for a lot of reasons. Like
A lot
Warren Buffett
cheaper, but
basically
probably pays a lot less.
yes and no. She would have made the same salary actually. So in that way, it would have been more. But since we're still on the low end of the totem pole in California, the taxes are not nearly as bad as people like to make you think. It's only when you start to own things and start to develop wealth that people get a little more testy there. But yeah, so for us, it's gonna be simple. I'm basically going to stay in financial stuff. I'm just gonna be working in person at an actual branch of banking. So that'll be chill. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna live in a nice little suburb where the Sony lot is. Not that that's the best thing about it. It's just that's sort of the thing about it that people would know. It was like a town founded by Kirk Douglas. So like not Michael Douglas, the actor we would have remembered as an older guy by the time we were kids. His dad basically founded this little suburb of Los Angeles a long time ago. And there's a robot interfering with the podcast now, or do y'all hear that?
Yeah, I think it's coming through Caesars for some reason, but it's gonna be okay.
That was weird. What was coming through?
It sounds like you're getting a text message next to a computer speaker in 2008.
That's weird because I definitely don't have it. I have everything on silent on my end. So.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's some kind of interference, but it's not a big deal. We're fine.
Oh, okay.
No, it is good. I do know that I have now. I probably sound better now, which is also just hilarious because I unplugged my mic trying to fidget with something, and then when I plugged it back in, of course, well, it muted me, but then of course it sent me to the microphone in these fucking headphones. So then, yeah. Anyway. Going to be a fun trip. It's going to be an interesting world, but it'll be easier. I did purchase a MacBook Neo recently, so this is why it's easier for me to be more mobile. We're in my former office that looks like it's been shot up, but that's just because I hang too much shit, and therefore I have to putty a lot of shit when I leave. Got the Lamar Odom jersey because I will be trying to attend a Laker game this season. It's probably Bron's last season. He's probably going back. We're not really going to get into that on this show, but that does seem like what's going to happen. I'll probably do that, but otherwise, you're going to see my ass wearing that jersey and getting cheap tickets to the Clipper Dome because Inglewood is so much easier than downtown LA.
Inglewood?
Yeah, I will be in Inglewood regularly. Got the Forum. That's going to be some great concerts. Really excited about the concert.
Nice.
That's
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
man.
How far are you from Inglewood?
It's basically my neighbor. Yeah, I would say that
Oh.
Culver City is where I'm at, and it'll be like literally within the same suburb. It's probably 30 minutes on a bad traffic day, but that's LA
Okay.
for you. Like you go 5 miles, and it could be 40 minutes, just depending on the time.
Understand.
So
Well,
that part will be tough. That part
Well-
will be an adjustment.
we know this is not an end to your presence on the show. However, Bethke, I've decided here on the spot, Patrick, you're also going to get caught off guard with this. I'm going to dedicate something to you a cappella. Ready your ears,
Hell yeah.
gentlemen, for I will serenade you with the song of men from the Philadelphia area, as I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Get ready. I have the lyrics up, so I can't fuck this one up. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. And that's as far as I'm gonna go. Yeah.
This is
Get the
beautiful.
rest of the rhythm.
Love it.
That was well done.
Uh,
Think that American Idol is in your future now.
is that still a show?
I prefer The Voice, honestly. You know,
American
that
Idol
one feels a
never
little bit
die.
more fun.
It did die. I think they brought it back
they'll-
once, but
no,
it just
they'll
died
fix-
again.
Exactly. It'll keep happening until they learn their lesson.
Yeah. So it's also worth noting, I think we're coming up on the 4th anniversary of this podcast starting. If I'm not mistaken, that would be next month. Now I think the first 3 to 5 episodes were never released to the public. So as far as our public
The
debut,
demos.
it's more like August,
Yes.
September, but I think including at least one episode where I completely fell asleep and you can just hear my dog drinking water in the background.
Oh my god, that one. That was a
that is
classic.
definitely, yeah, that's the one that put us on the map.
Yeah, that one that we never published put us on the map. We might have published that.
Did we not publish that? I swear.
It'll be like it'll be
where
like
it
a
was.
great punk band, that gets famous 30 years after because someone unreleased a vaulted tape, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this was the most important thing that happened retroactively."
I love the idea that our podcast in many years is something that someone's like, you know what? These guys really had something.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of that. There's just, they're going to be sifting through an endless sea of athlete podcasts, and they're like, no, I want to see what the biggest schmucks in the world are saying about sports right now.
What are the Bill
And-
Simmons ripoffs trying to say about 2023 NFL?
Exactly. Exactly.
They're like, you guys, what? Nobody ever thought. What if we just dedicated an entire hour of a show to hypothetical fights
Honestly,
between
our
middle-aged
best-
men?
yeah. Hands down, our best bit is Head Coach Fight Club, without question.
the Fight Club.
Caesar's really giving us some flavor with that one that we did not have, and it's fun to do.
Oh, yeah.
with that
It's
said,
gonna be
we'll-
weird not having all three of us for the fight club going for. Well, not.
We'll figure some
Always having all three of
things
us?
out. We'll figure some things
Yeah.
out. It's fine.
I mean, we can always also just record on.
I
the
might have to
weekend when
just-
We're all.
I might
That
have just
works.
have to, I might also just have to, in times, just send you guys a hand of God decision, and then if you guys can't make the decision yourselves,
I mean,
hand
if you
of
just
God.
if we tell you a week ahead of time, you can just record a 5-minute thing, and you will always be the first one, and then
That's
the
true,
best.
and then I just set the tone every time.
we'll figure it. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
There'll be
We
some
have
changes.
logistics.
Things will be a little different, but we'll still create something very fun for you.
I might have a cooler background, honestly. I don't know. We'll see how the
Oh.
internet connection.
Yeah.
We'll see how the internet connection is out there. Yeah.
I
It'll be
mean, I
really
also
fun.
just don't mind recording weekend mornings when there's nothing going on, and
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's
yeah.
it's easy to manage in 2026. So
The weekend, just remember that might mean me waking up at like 6 in the morning.
Well, I wouldn't say it starts at 8.
No, I haven't decided if I'm going to be a normal West Coaster or if I'm going to be a transplant West Coaster who just gets up at 6 a.m.
You'll have to be a normal West Coaster.
I'm just going to be up at 6 a.m. all the time. And I'm just like, this is my life now. This is who I am.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, if I went over there, I'd still be waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning. So
that's why I'm like, I don't know, man. I guess this is just who I am. But we'll see. To be determined. And to be determined how long we're there. But obviously, there's a fam there. So a lot of good roots to put down in the LA area. Not a lot of people get to have that opportunity. So I don't take that lightly.
Yeah. You also got some homies out there.
Yeah, I get to have some people that we haven't seen in a while with like Anthony Tran. I'll dig him up somewhere. But
yeah.
Oh man, I miss Tran.
Yeah, he was cool.
But I know Jacob Jackson is still there. Patrick, you don't know Jacob, but Jacob Jackson is definitely a West Hollywood king with his little haircut thing that he's got. He looks so West Hollywood hipster. I love it. I just love that he went from frat star to West Hollywood hipster. It's
a pretty.
It was a very easy transition for him too.
Yeah,
it was, and I just wanted to know that there's no like. I actually genuinely, when I was at my wedding, I was just like, that shit makes me laugh. I was like, I love that. That is exactly why you bring the college buddies back for the wedding day, because like people change a lot. Change can happen.
Speaking of pretty funny and things changing, we'll get into some sports here. Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech have filed for divorce and has entered the NFL supplemental draft.
Yep. So for those of you who don't know how this
I guess we got to be. I'm gonna be a college football guy now. All right. My white T-shirt. Yeah, buddy. Oh, change out. All right, brother. So I actually had to really catch up on this one a lot. Caesar, you want to go with the supplemental draft stuff first?
Yeah, just to explain to people how that works. Okay, so for those of you who are unfamiliar with the supplemental draft, that's usually held for people in Sorsby's case, or those who exit out of college, decided, you know what, I don't want to return to college. It's too late for the draft. You can't really qualify for free agency, though. So they create the supplemental draft as a pathway into the league. Now, once the supplemental draft passes and you're not taken, then I believe you are open to be a free agent, right? Now, the way that it works for teams, here's how it goes. All right, the supplemental draft goes in the exact same order that the NFL draft went to based on your record, right? And there's no changing of draft picks and whatnot. It's just based on record. Okay, so if for whatever reason you are an NFL team and you decide, I want to take this guy with my first round pick in the supplemental draft, then that following actual real NFL draft, you lose that draft pick. Right? We have seen a very classic example in the 90s with the Dallas Cowboys, actually, when they took Troy Aikman first overall, and then they took a guy in the supplemental draft out of Miami, whose name escapes me, but you might remember, with the first round pick.
It was the guy who won with Jimmy, and he actually takes over the starter job for a game or two during the rookie season, and then Troy kind of snatches it back forever, and that's kind of been the lore, if I remember.
Steve Walsh, that's who it was.
Walsh, Walsh.
Yeah, Steve Walsh was selected in the first round. And that actually happened, and the Cowboys lost the draft pick the following year from that. But
what year? Oh, they took him in '89. They took him in '89. Got it.
They took him in '89. They lost.
Yeah, so it was. If I remember, Jimmy was sort of stubborn about this because he wasn't completely bought on Troy. If you actually look into that history, Jimmy kind of felt like he didn't believe in Troy up until the day he did it, and then after that, it was sort of an immense confidence in him. But so I think Jerry Jones gets a lot of the shit when it comes to the way that business of the Cowboys goes, and deservedly so. But at that time, you also have to remember Jimmy Johnson.
Okay, I was trying to figure out how they got that pick back, and then I remembered one of the worst moments in my team's history took place that season. So
Yeah, and then they were also acting willy nilly because Minnesota had basically just given them the most ridiculous stockpile ever.
They got Emmitt Smith the very next year in the first round at 17, but still.
Yep. Now, for anybody who's wondering who is the last person to get drafted in the supplemental draft, you have to go back to 2019. Safety Jalen Thompson taken in the 5th round. But some notable.
The last one I remember this being a big deal, where I think I learned all this, was Pryor, right?
Right. So actually, Pryor might be the last big college name to go in the supplemental draft, but I would argue that the guy who was taken the very next year was probably the last great talent. I'm gonna say talent. Taken in the supplemental draft. 2012, Josh Gordon was taken in the 2nd round.
Right. Okay.
Of the supplemental draft. Now, Terrell Pryor also had a pretty nice career at wide receiver for a little bit. But yeah, after that.
Well, at the time, they still drafted him to be a quarterback, though. That's important.
And for anyone more dumb in football like I am, Jalen Thompson is still in the league and just signed a 3-year, $36 million contract with the Cowboys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that name did sound familiar. I was like, okay. Awesome.
I was just wondering if he was still around. Like, he was the last one to be picked. Was he still around?
He was one of those free agents that wasn't as sexy a name, but all the Cowboys bloggers were like, "Ooh, this is why." What's his name? Who's the guy who the Cowboys just got from y'all in Philly? Who's my coordinator now? Caesar.
Christian Parker.
Yeah, Christian Parker.
CP. Well, CP as they like to call him.
All kinds of CP. Yeah, so yeah, that's
can't be good for the algorithm. Go ahead.
People were really excited about that one. So anyway, supplemental stuff, NFL stuff. Caesar, the only thing I need you to fill in, and then I'll handle the rest of the college stuff. Is there any particular team that's buzzing a little bit? Is there any names mentioned right now that you've heard that are notable, or are we just all gonna find out?
To be honest, it's your usual suspect bottom feeder teams that I've heard.
What do we have to lose? The Jets.
Right.
So,
but
yeah,
cool. if you want to know who teams that are considered the best fits, right? From what I like, the professionals, if you will. I've seen the Green Bay Packers because they need backup quarterback play. I've seen the Panthers, who also lack an experience. Or don't have a very big, a lot of depth in that room outside of Kenny Pickett, who's their number 2, because you have Will Greer.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely consider it as Kenny Pickett.
The Vikings, yes, Patrick. The Vikings too.
Vikings make a lot of sense, but good lord, that's got to be the worst decision you could ever make at this point.
And it would cost you basically nothing if you time the pick right.
You're basically tripling down on telling your boy that you don't have faith in him.
If that's the case, then that's the
doubling
case.
Down.
Do it. If that's what you believe,
it's just tough.
If that's what you believe, then act on it. I don't like being in the middle.
Yeah. The other two I'm seeing are the Colts and the Falcons, which those also make sense. Those
would make sense. Okay.
Those make sense. I mean, especially the Falcons. I feel like the Falcons might be a better fit, but that's just me.
Well, all right. Well, fair enough. We'll see where it goes. When is the supplemental draft?
It has to happen before July 16th, I believe, is what.
But they have to schedule it now because someone's actually involved in it.
Likely.
All right. Well, then let's handle the college football side of this. The college foozing. Basically, the most important notes to add on to this before we get into the backstory and then how we got here, because you could do a whole thing on this, and I'm sure somebody will wrap this up pretty well, because this has been a whole saga, and I was kind of busy the last couple of weeks, so I didn't really see it unfold as much in real time. But as I've been breadcrumbing it back to where it's the initial injunction essentially at this point, it's just been an incredible roller coaster. So we're going to start with, I think, a meme. We'll do a little class presentation here for the kids. We're going to use this one right here. All right, real nice and juicy. Brandon Sorsby admits to gambling after being caught. We dump all the resources into fighting against his ban. We mutually part ways and embarrass ourselves.
And that's only scraping the surface of everything that we had to hear about over the last few weeks.
Yeah, no, and that's why I said that's why we're just gonna start with that meme. And I think I got one more here. I'm gonna load just ready for it to be ready. Okay. First little interesting tidbit I want to say and get just be done with because it's not really that important. Texas Tech is not requesting any of their NIL back. I do find that interesting. I just that's
Okay.
there's really not much to go off of there, but they made the statement. They're not asking for it back. It's kind of a good PR move. It's also sort of maybe hedging your bet as to not have this guy sort of flip his script on the whole
Well,
legal
yeah,
situation.
if you're trying to get out, you're just getting out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas Tech just wants a clean break because this has just been egg in their face, and it was going to happen. They're spending all this money willy nilly. Not that it's a bad thing, not that it's not what you're supposed to do. It's just, yeah, I do kind of get it.
Well,
Um,
yeah, if you're Texas, you have 40 of these guys, so one doesn't mean much to the cycle, but
well, and I don't know that it really does to Tech anymore, but you're so quick to jump into the business of big boy dollars and spending that you kind of made a deal with the guy who had these really big red flags. Maybe you knew about him, maybe you didn't. Um, I mean, honestly, I love if there's one thing I'm going to miss the most about being here, it's college football pettiness, right? So, like, if you told me that a Texas booster found out about the gambling and snitched this out to get this whole thing started, I would fully fucking believe it.
well, no,
Aggie, I don't care who it was,
it all
Baylor, I don't care.
started in Cincinnati, right? Someone figured it
Well,
out
right.
there.
So, and that's why yeah, we've got breadcrumbs to trace. So that's why I'm saying perhaps the reason the rest of us know about it is because a Texas booster finally was the most motivated person in the world with this knowledge, or a Baylor booster, or whoever, and pulled the Oklahoma State. Fuck it, goes to T Boone. So yeah, Texas Tech not requesting money back. Now let's get to the story, the real story and the meat of this. We were looking at for what is it, maybe a week and a half ago, maybe a little bit less, a preliminary injunction that was granted to Brendan Sorsby, allowing him to play in this upcoming season. There would have been a 2-game ban. It would have been Abilene Christian and somebody else. Obviously, we know that there was some bravado about Texas switching or whatever. That's clearly not going to happen now. But we had a 2-game ban. That was kind of what we thought was going to happen. And then Guns Paxton, another funny thing I'm going to miss about this state, and hopefully watching him fall miserably in November, is he decided that this is his moment to kind of get to put his name in the papers about this college football story. He needs it because there's a good chance Tellerico is going to unseat him, or is going to unseat the Republican hold on that chair. And it is it was a funny one because he ended up making the boo boo that basically is the reason Brendan Sorsby is 100% going to the NFL, no questions asked. Because he threatens the Big 12 with sanctions. He basically threatens the rest of the schools, and it's saying that you guys don't retaliate to this preliminary injunction, to which the Big 12 did what the kids on the internet call up poll. Do you know what up poll means?
Um,
They
not,
legally upped poll.
not literally, but I could guess.
It means that when someone's trying you and maybe they have a weapon but you got a bigger one. Big 12 up their poll pretty good here, and came out with a legal complaint that was basically asking for a stay. This kind of gets brought on and is possible because Ken Paxton literally uses legal threats or threats of legal action in his little memorandum to the state, or to the Big 12 specifically. And so it basically allows them to just take Ken Paxton, who, remember, is supposed to be Texas's top lawyer, who are now trying to have be a House of Representatives member, or no, senator. And yeah, you just gotta have to laugh a little bit at that, because I don't know why Guns Paxton comes into this. Maybe I am not familiar with his alumni status and he's a Red Raider, or he just gets all his oil money. I call him Guns Paxton because usually the only thing you can get Ken this motivated for is something about guns. Anything else, and he's falling asleep at the wheel. So interesting little way that played out. But it wasn't the only story here. This did actually have a bigger pool than just Ken Paxton shitting his britches. This is in reaction to a bunch of the ADs allegedly planning to boycott Texas Tech, right? So that is the reaction that he had, right? We initially got these rumors that Big 12 schools were going to boycott Texas Tech games, and then Ken Paxton does what he does, and the Big 12 ups poll, and now Brennan Sorsby legally was so fucked that he just went to the supplemental draft. There were other teams. Michigan canceled a volleyball game, and this came after Nebraska and Georgia both decided to be moral oral and ban or boycott any affiliation or any games, any sort of intramurals, any whatever connection the athletic departments would have, just to go ahead and stop those immediately. Obviously, there's a big joke there with the moral police when it comes to Georgia, but understandably, this is a different situation. This is the integrity of sports, which I understand people are going to take more seriously, which I appreciate to some degree. I appreciate it. I also wish they appreciated the other stuff as much, but fine. We'll both find an even lane when it comes to the integrity of the games we watch and care about. A final escalation that's important, I think it was May 27th, the Cruz Cantwell NIL bill, the Protect College Sports Act that you guys have probably seen a billion commercials about over however much promoting this idea, where it essentially is, our Congress wanting to make a national regulation for NIL, which is probably good. I just think there's a big part of me that cracks up because it's big government where we care about something, little government when we don't. But at the same time, this is a bipartisan thing. So Cruz and Cantwell, they usually split names to show, hey, we're in this together, guys. So that one is important. It probably needs to get done. It probably will get done. So all of those things escalating, I think, also really put Brendan Sorsby in a position to be like, all right, well, looks like I'm headed to the Jets. And then the final part of this, Brendan Sorsby and his agent started to go on like a PR recovery tour to maybe get that draft stock looking a little sexier. I don't know. I guess it does help with the contract, doesn't it? So I guess their goal is to probably have him be a third round tender. Is that what I've heard is like reasonable as the third round?
Maybe, but like honestly,
I think I've heard people say that
that might be optimistic. I think he's kind of more
if the NFL. You have to wonder if the NFL plans on doing their own kind of punishment on his gambling.
Right. You would also have to consider that. I would agree. Don't know how much teams will know, but you're right. That is a big factor.
Well, the league, yeah.
And so, I would say that from my watching of Brendan Sorsby, he's a very talented player, was a very, very good recruit. I would say that in a normal situation, playing a year at Texas Tech, good or bad, he's probably a first-round pick. Even if he's not one, he might have been 32, because of just talent and upside alone. But at this point, I think a third-round pick would be more reasonable than I would expect if the rest of it isn't as big of a deal. But it does feel like, again, sports integrity, like this is just such a touchy subject, and he's now firmly in the center of like maybe the biggest argument in sports in the last however many decades or whatever. Like this has just not been something that sports has really had to reconcile with in any real way, and it's sort of new. And so obviously we know gambling's always existed. We've had the Pete Rose incident, but there is so much more than Pete Rose in this.
Scott Foster, Tim Donaghy.
Right, we have the NBA referees.
We don't know what happened there. We just don't, like the Las Vegas shooter. No clue what's going on there.
So it's not nothing. We also have, I mean, honestly, you can go back to the Black Sox. You also have
That's the biggest one, honestly, besides Pete Rose, maybe.
and that was also fairly common in early New York basketball, which is obviously a big part of basketball ever becoming what it became. But it is marred in the fact that there was a lot of that going on in Chicago and New York at the time.
Probably a lot easier when there were like one or two really good players versus a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, I think you have to factor in opportunity more than anything. But his backstory I did find interesting to some degree. Now, there was the agent saying Cincinnati knew for 2 years and never did anything about it, which, of course, Cincinnati denies. Who do you believe? Who cares?
A weird thing for your agent. It's not a good sign when your agent has to be, they knew about his cheating and didn't say anything.
Like I said, they're doing everything they can to get that third-round pick contract. What I thought, though, if I'm going to convince myself Brennan Sorsby is okay and that this is something we can get past, if he's truly the talent that they seem to be, he mentioned that part of his gambling addiction starting was in Indiana, where he originally was playing college football, and that naturally, I believe he would have been a redshirt freshman. So feeling a little detached from the team. He's betting on the team. He's claiming he's losing a lot of money on the team because they sucked that year. I don't know if that can be proven and what documentation there is in all this, but that does feel notable to me, where I could see a young man trying to figure it out. This is a new landscape. There's really not a lot of guardrails here. Everybody in the locker room is talking about it. Everybody on social media is talking about it. That's definitely something a young person is going to magnetize to. And then I think they are going to think it's not as big of a deal when they aren't directly impacting the outcome because they're literally not even coming close to sniffing the field. And, I do think that that's fair. And then you can see where the addiction can form during that. And it's still wrong and it's still fair for everyone to be mad about. But if you're going to convince yourself that this is a solvable problem, and that you can bring in a decent talent, then I feel like that's the basis that's where I would start the path with. But
yeah,
I have one statement to go on. These people get to interview them.
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna kind of go back to what I know the hope might be third round pick, but all things considering with the gambling and what we've seen with NFL players being caught for gambling and, the availability of said players, the guy should realistically expect himself to be a fifth or sixth, not based on talent, just based on the risk factor for the NFL team. Because you might think, well, if a fifth or sixth round pick isn't available to us for a whole season for gambling, right? And what does it matter? It's a fifth or a sixth round pick. Those hardly ever hit, right? So with a third rounder, there's just a little bit more at stake with that because you can always flip that for more picks in the future, or there's just a little bit more of a likelihood that you can get a player who will have a longer career in the third round.
I would say a final note on it is this statement from the Big 12 cracked me up a lot. I'm just going to put on the screen, and I want you guys to look at it, but I'll just read it for the audience. The Big 12 looks forward to moving ahead as 16 strong.
And that is the state of college football.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good ender.
In other news, they did finish the hockey as well. We covered the basketball a few days ago. The hockey did end. The Carolina Hurricanes defeat the Vegas Golden Knights pretty handily. It was a good series.
How many games?
I believe it was 4-2, 4-1, 4-2.
6 games. Okay.
Which means Tom Dundon, the Carolina Hurricanes owner and now Portland Trailblazers owner, it gets his first professional championship. I don't think he owned the team in 2006 when they won the last time. I don't believe he did. But
the center of the hockey universe,
it's
Charlotte,
funny
North
that,
Carolina.
Hey, man, they've won twice in our lives. It's more than most of any of our teams have done.
Stealing it from the hotbed of hockey, Tampa Bay, Florida.
Tampa, Vegas, Dallas, Carolina.
We gotta win.
South,
we gotta win.
The South runs hockey.
We got to win a championship before you throw us in there. Don't get us roasted like that.
Hey, come on, we won a long time ago.
We've
Back
won more
before the-
recently than Canada has.
That's very true. And more recently than the
That is fair.
Cowboys and
Whoa! Why?
That's all
That's
good.
friendly fire, bro. You
That's
have
Dallas.
to see. This is
It's not
why.
friendly fire for me.
This is why the civics thing is an issue. You know what I mean? Because
traded-
this is bullshit.
I traded my football team to have a hockey team, and it's worked out all right, I guess.
Yeah, you haven't got to enjoy enough Dak Prescott.
I've still seen a bunch of it. And,
Oh, have you been online?
well, just existing in Dallas.
I was
Got
like,
you.
No.
Anyways, let's move
Uh,
on. Let's move on to the best sports happening in Arlington right now. The World Cup.
Yeah.
I know, Beth, you said you had a few things. I don't have a whole lot. I did watch Argentina.
Yeah.
I did see Messi. I saw goals 2 and 3 from Messi on his hat trick the
Yeah.
other night. Who were they playing? Algeria.
As one does.
And now he's tied for the all-time World Cup goals lead. This is presumably his last World Cup, so as long as he scores one more goal in this tournament, he will be the all-time leader, unless Ronaldo, who's only one behind him, moves up. I think the guy who he tied is Czech. Is he the Czech soccer player? Tease, you have any input on that?
Or the
No.
Czech soccer? No, I do not have a name put on that. I'm preparing something for a bit once
Okay.
Beth you his observations because all I got. So
Yeah, I know that Portugal tied Congo, so that doesn't feel like that bodes well for Messi versus Ronaldo in the.
oh, that's done, man.
Didn't
That's
count.
Oh, German. Miroslav
Ronaldo's washed.
Klose.
I just want people to know that. Everybody knows that. Just everybody at the World Cup should know that Ronaldo's washed.
I forgot about 2010, the year Germany beat Brazil like 7-1. One of those guys is the all-time leader, but he's now tied with Messi.
That
Nice.
game is on Pornhub. That game is actually on Pornhub.
I'll never forget. I was working at a Silver Fox in Fort Worth, and it was like an hour before we opened. We're just all standing in the bar watching, like, what the fuck is happening? It's not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, dude. There was some nasty ass fucking games. So the
Like,
big
even
German
a-
machine is what they call them, or something.
Even a dominant win should only be like 4-1. 7
No, that was crazy. I'm
Seven
pretty
with
sure I saw
two-
that one.
with 2 legit teams is a crazy number. But yeah, Ronaldo is third over all time, one behind Messi and Klose. Klose, Klose in German. I don't know. I'm just saying
Klaus.
It's not AU. It's OSE, which
Huh.
O is. I'm not sure.
No, I remember this, but I don't remember it.
I don't know. I don't know my
Um,
German, and I didn't play against them enough on FIFA.
I would say
Mbappe,
that
Mbappe is only 2 behind Messi, and he's still playing. So not,
Yeah, he just had a great game the other day against Senegal.
not the only one. If you're looking at goals per match, there's a West Germany guy who played in 2 World Cups and scored 14 goals, which is, I don't know what was going on in the 70 and 74 World Cup, but West Germany had one ultimate killer.
nice. West
Actually-
Germany.
Yeah.
Mr. Gorbachev, I'm tearing down that wall. So the Japanese cleaned up Jerry World. That was really sweet of them.
With
I don't
James
know.
Winston, right?
Jameis Winston did partake in that, which was also good for the broadcast. I
Didn't
thought it
he-
was also great for Fox for hiring him.
No, okay, I didn't know he was part of that. Was he part of the broadcast for that day, or is he just?
Yeah, he's working for somebody nationally.
He's
I
like,
don't
I know my contract says football, but this feels like a stretch, guys.
Well, listen, that was a hell of a game.
His
though.
personality, dude, he's going to be replacing people in no time. The Dutch took over the streets of Arlington, which was very intense.
That was cool. One of the actors from Ted Lasso was there. One of the assistant coaches, American comedian writer Brendan Hunt, I think is his name.
Nice.
I saw he was in the crowd. One of my friends, or in a thread I have with a couple of friends, I shared a video of the Dutch going wild outside of the ballpark, and I was like, "That's the most excitement this place has ever seen."
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
Compare that to the Rangers World Series parade, and
No, it wasn't good. Scott's drinking Boston literally under the table, the entire city. That's probably one of the coolest things that's happened. I think maybe the coolest thing that's happened is that they have actually managed to drink Boston bars into a pickle.
Like they're out of alcohol.
Yeah, no, they've had to. Yeah, they just drastically underbought, and they just didn't know.
It's funny. I wonder. I don't know if that's the Scott specific or Boston just wasn't ready for anyone to come in.
No one told them the World Cup was coming. They were like, that's in Foxborough. Come on, kid. Iran got told to get the fuck out as soon as they finished their match.
No way.
It's pretty crazy.
Sad.
I think they just played somewhere else, right, in Canada or Mexico. I don't know. I haven't paid
so they are training and staying in Mexico, and then they fly to the U.S. and then fly right back to Mexico, where they are met by their own personal security detail provided by the Mexican government.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of Mexico, there is probably the most famous thing out of this so far is a duck wearing a Mexican jersey.
Oh, dude. Okay, if we're gonna talk about
this, the guy with the penis under his apron at the security gate.
No, but that one was funny. I know what you're talking about. That one was funny. Listen, if we're talking about observations seen in Mexico,
he's wearing like an apron over his Mexico jersey, and he has like a crocheted 2-foot long skinny penis that pops up when you pull the apron up. And the security guard laughed. Everyone was laughing.
But yeah, listen, I'll tell you what you guys have been missing in Mexico. So the South Koreans, their minds are getting blown by Mexico. Okay, they're coming in here and immediately greeted by tequila shots, and everybody around them just playing Gangnam Style, as that is Mexico's only just Korean.
If it was Japan, it'd probably be a lot of Dragon Ball Z shit. But
100%.
Because it's Korea, they can only go with Psy.
Listen, the FIFA really messed up by not sending the Japanese to Mexico, because then there would be an actual argument as to who Goku belongs to the Mexicans. But listen.
I think that's actually probably something that the Japanese would just go ahead and give the Mexican people at this point.
They're like, you want number 8 on our list? Yeah, go ahead.
At this point, it's more of an American commodity.
Another thing that I'm noticing here is there is some extreme friendliness between the Mexican and Korean people. I am talking about there are just random strangers from both countries just making out in the streets. And that's when I thought, you know what, guys? The one way to fix South Korea's incredibly rapidly declining population is by getting some of the most fertile people on this side of the hemisphere down to Korea. That's right. We are talking about.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you've heard, but some of those countries have a particular specification that, in America we do sort of have as well, and especially this administration's been trying to get us back on that wavelength. But technically, we're not supposed to feel the way they clearly feel about ethnicity. I'll put it that way. Well, I do feel like that might be a little bit harder sell.
I think it's an easier sell than you think, because there is a brotherhood between Mexico and Korea right now.
You do it slowly.
There is a brotherhood.
You do it slowly. You don't just unleash 1 million people at once. You do it slowly, so the people, it's a boiling.
Yeah, you trickle in. But the thing is, you have to trickle in your most romantics. Okay,
I think there's
his trickle in economy is gonna go places.
We'll call it a deep care for the cultural fabric of their country that you're seeing a lot in places like Japan and Korea. Where they love it. They love the world, but don't make us you.
Listen, they're also learning.
There's this undertone to a lot of this stuff where it's like,
I think
sure.
I think the the Mexican people and a lot of different countries would fit in better moving into Korea than a bunch of Americans would or British people would, and
Well, that's fair. That's a different
yeah. That's
situation.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like you're thinking of it in that lens, and I think this one's a little bit easier.
No,
Easier
no. I'm thinking that's I'm not thinking of it from an American lens. I'm thinking that there is just a thing that a lot of people do and feel, and we're seeing it in America with a lot of people that look like you and I, where they're freaked out about what's the culture of our country. And for us, it's actually a really simple answer. They're just too dense to understand it. For other countries, historically, they don't have the same context we do. So that is a much more difficult conversation to have because they actually they got millennia of the ground to stand on.
This is what we're gonna do, all right? Because what we're going to do is we're gonna send our best from K-Town in LA, okay?
Yeah.
Because this is the perfect list. They're like, what would that even look like? It's going to look like K-Town in LA. Okay, that's what it's gonna look like, Korea. You see that? That is a nice.
Look, all you gotta do is open up a couple of street taco stands, and it's all good.
And then
if you guys want to keep, if these people want to be in Mexico or if they want to be a part of the United States of America, I think that we can find great homes that are already existing, like Los Angeles. But if these people have to go back to Korea, I'm telling you, there might not be a warm reception. And
listen,
you gotta understand the world is a different place. You know what I mean?
They're gonna want people from Mexico to come to Korea. I'm just telling you,
visit.
And leave the seeds of repopulation in the ground.
But no, it is a funny one because you're right. They do have that issue. And tonight we get the civil war with Mexico and Korea.
Yeah, it's about to start actually. But this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, listen. All right, this is why this would be a beautiful partnership. Okay, because the men in South Korea are known to be a little overbearing and some might say even misogynistic. This is what I'm hearing. All right. You know who doesn't? Yeah, right. You know who does not play that shit? Mexican women. Balance, right? Now let's flip the other side. You know, from what I'm hearing is that the Korean women are lacking romance and, men who express themselves and can display these emotions. Do you know who displays their emotions quite frequently, up and down all day, and will be over the top romantic? A Mexican man who really wants your attention. So this is beautiful marriage. This is rice and beans. This is the World Cup.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that game goes, but otherwise we'll see. What else has been great? Oh, a French guy was arguing with his Uber driver about who invented freedom. That was awesome. It's obviously he's in America. There's like an American Uber driver being like, "But we're the freest people."
Neither of them.
Well, that's true.
They have a better claim to it than we do, but
right, yeah, you do have the French Revolution, which is quite important to modern freedom as we know it.
That's after our revolution.
Wasn't there multiple French revolutions? I feel like they've had more than one.
But the thing we call the French Revolution,
they do it all the time.
Happened against the government that helped us with a bunch of money, and that's why we were like, "Oh, we don't know this new government anything." Actually, see you guys later.
Classic America. I saw one Brit online complimenting Dallas's barbecue. Awesome. Then he mentioned
the Europeans love American food.
Yeah, and then he mentions his road trip, and I just wanted to bring this one up to you guys, especially we were talking about road trips earlier. My guy came over to the United States in the middle of summer, and he started in Dallas. Obviously, I know that the sports is sort of dictating this too. Then he's going to Nashville.
Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, well, he probably is in Dallas staying, but he's probably all over Fort Worth, Dallas area. DFW to Nashville. Okay, I've done that one. It's not sick, but if you can knock it out. Then from Nashville to Cleveland. I don't know if Cleveland's hosting anything. Maybe a rock and roll fan. I don't know. Then Boston, which I do know that they obviously they're hosting. That also geographically looks a little something like if my nose is Dallas Fort Worth, like I think we're going up and then like to the east. I don't know how this is gonna look on the reflection, but you're like going over and over, and then like you're going up and you're going like way up, and then you're just coming back down a little bit, but to this farther side. Like you're slowly just inching your way to the East Coast, but in the funniest like stock share looking fucking path. So anyway,
Yeah.
just thought that was a funny one.
Closest thing to Cleveland would either be Kansas City or Philly, but I don't think either is particularly close.
Yeah, I thought Cleveland was interesting. Like I said, might just be a rock guy. Might just want to go see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Big Drew Carey guy.
Big Drew Carey guy. He wants to see if the Browns actually exist.
They are our first international team.
We
the
had
Jaguars have kind of taken it, but
we have Norwegians doing rows up escalators at airports. That's good. And then finally, our Australian friends taking to the streets of New York to chant, "Aussie boys are on a bender. Donald Trump is a sex offender."
Hell yeah, that's nice.
I also believe that somebody with the administration was asked about this, and then they were like trying to basically call it a shithole country, and basically just like assumed that it was a country that was one of the ones, and then they were like, "It's Australia," and they were just like, "Oh."
To be fair, I think to like 95% of us in this country, Australia is basically just like Britain West, but like we don't really think of it as being like half a world away.
They're South Africa without the bad rap. They gave us
they are
Murdoch.
a prison colony.
Yes.
Win.
Prison colony mixed with colonizing. It's an interesting mix, and it's surprising that they turned out as well as they have.
But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all I have for World Cup at this point.
Now let me give you some other stuff. Then I'm gonna. This is the stuff that you've seen, Bethke, but as we spoke last week, you're not on the Twitters as much as you used to, which is good thing. But you're missing out on one thing, the Tower of Babylon that it has become. And one thing that I love is that really shitty people come out during the World Cup and they will get dunked on by all these other countries for everyone to see. And one of these, unfortunately, if you are a big soccer fan and you don't live in this country, it's Argentina. For those of you who don't know, the people of Argentina suck, especially online. They're very brave. Keyboard warriors, if you will.
And they got the guy, too, you know.
They got the guy, but they also have a lot of racism and poverty. And that's the one thing that I have seen quite a bit.
Sounds familiar.
Maybe. Listen, no, their poverty is extreme. Now, they might be our fourth world country. Argentina, listen, you're broke. You only got soccer to your name. Messi can only be around so long, but your shit economy is forever. Your racism is online. All right,
They've got a gold medal in
basketball.
basketball.
I'm sorry. I see what you call other Latinos. You call us monkeys. I can't hear you over how broke you are. So here, let me show you how broke you are. I can feed your family for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Right there. Fuck you, Argentina. Viva Mexico!
That was a beautiful ending. So I don't want to spoil it, but it does feel like there's one thing about Argentinian history that we left off there. But I think we should just keep rolling.
Yeah, they're gold medal, and one of their best players right now is named McAllister.
Is that German?
No, it's either like Irish or English or Scottish. I mean,
they sure do love the Germans down there.
Lionel Nowitzki.
Why?
All right.
And just a brief little check into the world of baseball. The Rangers suck. We don't need to get much on them, but we did talk about last week, and I just wanted to highlight again Jacob Misiorowski. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast or if it was before.
The Miz.
So he threw the fastest pitch in MLB history at 105 miles an hour. And this was this was part of a 95 pitch shutout with 15 strikeouts, which
Respect.
they call
Aroldis
in
Chapman didn't
game.
have the record.
He might have, but he doesn't anymore. No one's hit 105 until now. But he pitched what they call a Maddox, which is like a complete game where you pitch under 100 pitches. I don't know where his ranks on the. There's like people keep stats like Scorigami for that, but I know it's pretty high up there. 95 pitch shutout is crazy. Only gave up one hit. One of the best games that's ever been, and from a kid who's 23 maybe. So that's pretty wild. I hope he's great. It's nice that Paul Skeens is really good, and it's cool to have another guy in his division that's also just lights out. And hopefully he doesn't end up with the Dodgers in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So I wanna do a quick correction here, Patrick. So Mizorowski, fastest pitch thrown by a starter is the qualifier.
Oh, good call. Was
Um,
Chapman at like 106 or something stupid like that?
Chapman hit 105.8, so he still has the fastest pitch ever by a pitcher.
Okay.
But if you go by starting pitcher, then it's Mizorowski.
Yeah, I read over that distinction and didn't really think anything of it. But that makes sense. Chapman can throw some fucking heat. But yeah, still very cool. Considering he's got to throw like 8 more innings after he does that, which is not something Chapman's ever had to do.
right. Yeah. No, it's really impressive, and baseball needs more freaks. The freaks are good for the sport.
We got a few. Unfortunately, not a ton of them playing with us, but
The Rangers are. We don't need. I don't even want to do
we're
it.
going to be the first team to win the World Series under 500 in the regular season. Mark it.
There's a lot of games, so I'm not going to be Debbie Downer, but there's not a whole lot to get excited about.
Yeah, unless there's like an actual Earth magnetic shift, I don't see this offense all of a sudden learning how to be a baseball team.
Yeah, so super sick there for the Rangers, but it is what it is. But we got training camp on the horizon. We've got some basketball shenanigans, but at this point, it's really W time. College football spring training will be starting soon, I would assume. Or not spring training, but
Camp.
Camp, yeah. So yeah, I mean, a lot of sports to happen. I think when it comes to basketball, we saw today we had the New York Parade. Don't really have much from that. We did get this picture here. Crying Wembanyama, yeah. But really want to look at the artistry. I should have zoomed in.
The one of him in a dress with a purse.
It's like a dress and a purse. There were some very offensive signs.
Actually, it's more of a camisole skirt combo, but
yeah, it's very sleek. He's serving.
Hey,
and
still a fashion
then
icon, even when you're making fun of him.
we had a bit of NBA history tweeted out today that went viral. So just wanted to make sure you guys knew what today was.
Go ahead. Oh, the team did that?
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
so funny because, obviously they're gonna any team would ever tweet that out, but you know what I mean. It's like we drafted Dirk today. That's a very normal post. But when it's Malone, it's just always gonna go viral. Every time you post about Malone, it's gonna go viral. It's never gonna be why.
What is the upside there?
I mean, he's your franchise's best player, technically, bro. What do you do?
You just
What do you
put
do?
Stockton.
But Stockton kind of sucks too. But anyway, that was funny.
I know.
So yeah.
And that's why I devalue Michael Jordan championships. Go ahead.
Commissioner's Cup is taking place in the W. Not much else to talk about there yet. It's still pretty early. Oh, there is 50 games coming. There will be 50 game season starting next year. That'll also help the AAC, I guess.
What are they at, like 41?
Step in. I don't even know if they're even at that. They were at 20 for honestly a 27-30 for a while, but yeah, they might have actually bumped that up to 40. So yeah, that might actually be right.
44.
Yeah. So then there you go, bumping up the games a little bit. You have Liberty Aces in the Commissioner's Cup on the 30th. So at the end of the month, the Commissioner's Cup, which is believe predates the NBA's Tournament Cup. This is year 6 of that, and I think NBA tournament's only like on year 4 or something like that. Weird to me that this is only the second time Liberty and Aces have played each other in this, but you've had Indiana Fever, you've had Minnesota Lynx. Like there have been a lot of foes to the Aces over their dominant run, and the Liberty, obviously, like the only other championship in that window. Oh no, you have Minnesota. Minnesota's one. And then the Wings, they got a big win against the Aces at home, but I would still call them sort of a middling team trying to discover what its identity is. Probably a little ahead of schedule if I'm thinking from the front office perspective. You probably still have a lot of frustration online if you're a Wings fan being online. Olivia Miles is still just absolutely killing it. The Lynx are killing it. Really nothing on Azzi Fudd. It's just the optics of this is always sort of going to look weird until, either Dallas wins a championship first, or maybe they eventually do, or whatever it is. Again, it's not like Dallas is floundering here. It's just Olivia Miles is an incredible player. She also went to a perfect situation. So there's a little bit more complexity than just Wings picked the wrong person. But it does feel like they're not going to have the Rookie of the Year. So, it is what it is. When you draft the number 1 overall pick, there is some level of expectation that you're picking the odds-on favorite for Rookie of the Year. And technically, that wasn't the case pretty much at any point. Definitely not going to be the case as we go. New York Liberty is still deep, and the Aces still have Asia Wilson. That's pretty much all you need to know about the league to start. Things will continue, and it'll be interesting. Maybe not. Maybe just be a couple of real dominant teams and a bunch of sort of mid-level interesting teams. Any basketball, any W questions? Because we just have 2 little baby notes for basketball, actual, not trolls.
I got nothing for you.
Well, now if you are a Hoops fan and you're wanting to engage with Hoops content, basically the only thing you're going to hear for the next month or 2 is, well, not month, actually. So the draft is coming soon, and this actually might come to a head fast, but Giannis watch is just going to be the number 1 thing. If ESPN's talking NBA, you're probably hearing this, or LeBron, like we mentioned earlier. But this one is a little bit more impactful. Like LeBron is interesting. It is impactful to the history of the game. Maybe the Lakers can be a championship contender. Maybe they can't. That is a little bit more in question. They have a lot of ability in free agency. They're the Lakers, so obviously all that topic is going to be there. But really, Giannis is the piece that could potentially reshape basketball, right? Like wherever he goes could end up ending the Thunder, or the worst case scenario for what Patrick's been worried about with the Spurs being here, or the Knicks window's just immediately shut. Whatever it is could happen that quickly with this guy. He's that good. So he is the domino that needs to fall this offseason. They've already talked about it. They're going to explore opportunities. If he's not traded by the deadline, or by next Tuesday, basically, I would assume, then it's a very good chance he stays in Milwaukee. But that also could depend on free agent deals, picking up player options. There's also a lot of other variables to the timing of this when it comes to the trade assets that other teams would have to send out in those deals. We've got a lot of Celtics rumors buzzing. Those are notable, but as Brian Windhorst talked about on the Hoop Collective, you usually don't hear much out of Boston, so maybe hearing news out of Boston feels a little smokescreenish or overblown. It does feel like Miami is probably largely in driver's seat here, because they sort of have the Tyler Hero contract they can offer, where Hero also is a Milwaukee guy, so Milwaukee gets to sell a little puff story. They've got a lot of picks. They've got a lot of other core players that are interesting enough to make that deal look sexier, similar to the Anthony Davis package the Lakers sent out however many years ago. And so I do think that is probably who he goes to if he's traded at this point. But, San Antonio keeps it close to the vest. Oklahoma City keeps, they're not really even, it could always happen. Like we were joking about, no one ever in the fucking world thought that Luka Doncic was about to be a Laker. And then we woke up, or we were, up late on a Saturday night one night, and the world turned on its head. So you never really know.
Yeah, there's Kendrick versus Drake, and there's the Luca trade, and I can't think of anything else. That was such a shock.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment. Not at least in recent memory. I would say that that brings us now to the NBA draft, which we'll kind of get into in just a brief amount. So, one interesting change here: 2 days now. We're doing 2 days worth of drafting. The 23rd and the 24th, which means next Tuesday and Wednesday, the NBA draft will be unfolding. Probably at some point, that's the best point is for us to get back and recap with that and do some of the other stuff. But really, if you just need to know about the draft, and all we'll probably end up talking about once it's over anyway, is the top four. You have basically everyone considers a top four of this group to be that elite. This is what you get into the lottery level NBA talent for. Everything after that, you're getting a lot of guards with interesting guards, but with big trade-offs, like really, really electric offense, really bad defense, whatever it is. Size, knows how to play, but size is a little bad. There's just a lot of give and take when it comes to everything after four, which puts the Mavs in a tough spot with the 9th pick. And there's there's so many rumors with what the Mavs could be doing at 9 that it's impossible to do them all in this show. Or at least my will doesn't give me that. I don't have to make only Dallas Mavericks content, so I will not. But there has been a lot of conversation about what could happen at 9 because there is enough options at this point. That is fair. But what we need to know is the casual fan just looking at the NBA. Washington has a number 1 pick. In my personal opinion, I feel very confident they will take AJ Debinsa. I think that you look at who he is as a prospect, what he means to their ability to actually contend with this Anthony Davis, Trae Young timeline. Trae Young did just opt out, but Windhorst also went on ESPN and said that he's very likely to just sign a large contract with Washington. And honestly, who else is going to give Trae that money? So I believe it. And I think that Debinsa is this really athletic wing. I think you give him the opportunity to grow. He's also a potential rim protector that helps you with Anthony Davis. So I do think that Debinsa ends up going there because upside is insane, and the Wizards just really have to load up their team with as much talent as possible and hope that they can get themselves out of the gutter. That makes the Jazz pick pretty easy to me, and I think they'll be not Carlos Boozer, Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer Jr. is what I'm calling him because he's Carlos Boozer's boy. There's another Boozer. That Boozer is, I think, not likely to stay in the draft, or if he is, he's probably second round or maybe even free agent. But they're twins. Cam Boozer's a really talented player. I think that any of the 4 teams would be lucky to have him. He's definitely still talented enough to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I just think Debinsa is too sexy for these GMs to pass on the kind of skills you get out of him and the kind of raw athleticism you get out of him. But I think that Boozer could be the best player day 1, could be rookie of the year, similar to what we were talking about with the WNBA, where initially you might get way more out of Boozer than Debinsa, but long term, Debinsa might end up being much, much better. Then Memphis likely gets Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson's an incredibly talented 2 guard, has a lot of fuckboy in him, like as far as how he plays offense, but like when you talk about the talent, like this is exactly what you want. It's just there's a lot of extracurriculars that people have been nitpicking, the way he chose to play in and out of the season. Still, his talent is so crazy that people can't drop it from the top 4. And I think Memphis could end up finding their Ja Morant replacement kind of quickly with this one. And then the Bulls probably get lucky in all of this, and they get Caleb Wilson, who is the least respected of these 4 guys, but in my opinion could end up being the best guy, just if you think about the fact that he already has an incredible raw athleticism and skill set based on defense. And you might, day 1, have an elite defensive center, or at least a prospect showing large signs of even being able to really hold a defense on his own and build around that. So I do think the top 4 is really fun. Like I said, everything after that, you can talk yourself into it. There's going to be good players had, but it's a top 4 this year, and that's probably all the casual would want to concern themselves with, other than tuning in for 2 days of NBA draft coverage.
Yeah, you can't have a future MVP drafted in the middle of a Taco Bell ad or whatever. So
And it saves that, but it also makes me wonder if this will actually matter if NIL continues to be such a good thing for college basketball. Like, do we even need the second day? Like, is there eventually just a first round and then undrafted free agency? Like, which is, it feels like that's a path. But we'll see. Who knows? Either way, it's a draft. People love drafts because there's hope, even if it's foolishness in there. There's a lot of interesting plays to be made too. Trades usually, like some of the biggest league shaking trades have happened during the draft. I think like when I was a kid, the coolest thing that ever happened during the draft by a mile, I'm pretty sure it was they announced Ray Allen before Kevin Garnett to Boston or something like that. That was crazy because it was basically just like Boston is, people keep talking about Boston. Oh, is Boston finally going to, build around Paul Pierce? They're going to sell on Paul Pierce. What's Boston? And then all of a sudden, Boston just dick on the table. Boom, dick on the table. Boom. And then Boston was just the team,
And then we got stuck with Doc Rivers for 20 years.
That also happened.
Yeah.
And we're finally done with Doc Rivers. Unless you're a big Bill Simmons person, then you're actually more Doc Rivers now, somehow. Somehow more Doc Rivers.
Yeah, that's tough.
But I think that's about it from the sports world.
Yeah, and C's, did anything happen in the last 4 days in the NFL that's worth mentioning?
Rashid Rice is a free man.
Once a
That
rebel.
is-
Like out of jail or a contract?
Jail.
Jail.
Didn't realize that they put him back.
He had to turn himself
Oh,
in
yeah.
of like a month
Yeah,
or
it's
so
part of
ago.
his plea deal. Yeah, he part of his plea deal. He had to serve 30 days.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
there's-
okay. Classic. As my dad once said, hey, that ain't nothing, dude. Just don't tell your mom.
It's a great day to be a rebel. And I guess with that might be all we have this week, unless someone's got parting words.
No, I mean, look, no parting, just drastically changing my location geographically. That's
Yeah.
really the biggest difference. Remotely, I am still here and present. Ever living. I actually don't exist. I'm only on the computer.
We're all stuck in our computers.
I'm not allowed to leave this box.
All right. Was this the outro you wanted, or did you want the other one?
I felt like in light of y'all's reaction that I would go with the more sentimental one.
I completely forgot what it was. You could have switched it out and tricked me again. But anyways, we'll talk to you guys soon.
I'm confident every day, to be honest.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. You appreciate his compliment?
Say again?
You appreciate TJ's words for it?
Sure, for so that's my guy. That's my guy.